What's up, guys? I'm Big Cam.
And I'm Joe.
And welcome to Never Heard of It,
a film review show where we talk to you about movies you've most likely never heard of.
Today's film, Lord of Tears.
What? Never heard of it.
I know, that's why we're doing it. Alright, so I'm really excited to talk about this movie, man. I saw this with a couple friends, and my friend Christian introduced it to me, and he told me it would be pretty cool, and I watched it, and I loved it. I was kind of surprised, because to be honest with you, someone who does one of these, I'm not a big fan of horror films all the time. So it's like...
You can't say that on camera.
Yeah, I can. It's the truth. Like, sometimes I don't like certain horror movies, but like, when I do, I'm really passionate about how I like them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Like, go ahead. Sorry.
Lord of Tears is a Scottish film that came out last year. It's one of those, again, I hate to throw this out again, but most people have never heard of it. This is a very good film for open-minded horror fans, and open-minded horror fans are becoming essential to the functionality and success of the horror genre in itself. Especially because this is not a masterpiece. This is not a perfect film by any means. There's so many downfalls. There's so many technical issues and outright failures that go along with this film. But if you are open-minded enough to look past that, you'll see there's a lot more happening in this film, that more of an art rather than just all the technical issues. There's a lot of art in the horror film, and only if you have that open-minded sense will you actually be able to capture.
Yeah. Now, the beginning of the movie focuses on this guy named James Finley, and he's at his lawyer's office talking about the death of his mother, and he gains a home from her estate. He gains her estate, and he goes to check out the location, and he starts to find out things about himself and his family that make no sense. And he's trying to piece this huge mystery together, and it just all leads into this huge, like, blowout of, holy shit, what was that? So, like, I mean, to me, I thought that was pretty different. Like, it's got, like, and I know you and I have talked about this a couple different times, it's got this real slow drive to it at the beginning, and I like it. I don't know, how do you feel about it? Like, I mean...
The tone that the film held, I think, is its strongest point.
Yeah.
Because it does have this just gradual decline into just madness, and that's a good thing. The tone, for me, made up for a lot of, like I said, the technical issues. And I don't want to contradict myself with what I said earlier, but as a film review, you do have to point out these technical downfalls,
yeah,
to recognize what was truly good about the film.
Yeah.
I had a lot of issue with the set interiors. Mm-hmm. Just mainly it's a contrast thing. There was so the exteriors were so filled with lush color, and like the wooded area, the mansion outside of it was all very extravagant and beautiful looking, and yet when we went into the interiors, it's like they forgot about color correction. Yeah.
I don't, like, to me, honestly, the I think that in a weird way, and I will never ever say this about any other movie, because color correction is so important,
right,
in filmmaking. I think that for this, the difference between, like, how the exteriors were compared to the interiors, mm-hmm, felt like a message, like, to the viewer, to tell that there's a serious difference because there is a serious issue that everyone's missing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to give anything away, but it jumps at you, mm-hmm, when that serious issue finally comes into fruition, and then everything becomes the same. Like, the big thing that I loved from this movie, and I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll probably say it 1,000 times more,
Oh, I'm sure.
Is that is that there is a huge genre jump about 3/4 into the film, and it's so weird. Like it's so hard to understand because like you're watching it, you're like, what is going on? This seems very calm. I don't understand why it seems this way, and all of a sudden, it's like you snap your finger and it's a completely different film. That's what I like about it so much. Because it leads you into this comfortable position. Like, you're totally comfy throughout the entire movie. You're like, all right, well, there's some shit going on. It's probably going to be some kind of weird deep meaning thing, and there's going to be some kind of crazy shit that happens at the end. No, it's not that at all. It's like, okay, calm. Whoa, holy shit, what just happened? And everything is just so wild after that. It makes no sense compared to with the other parts of the film, but that works. You see what I'm saying? Like, usually I'm like completely against stuff like that. But for this particular movie, for its story, I think it's perfect. But that's just me.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I touched on the tone of it for sure. And by the end of it, it is very, very dark, very sporadic. Which is good. Like I said, it was just from where we started and what we got to by the end of the film was substantial. So the other thing, the creature, the Owl Man, as they call him,
The Owl Man.
which was a very cool costume, a very cool looking creature. It was all practically done. Creepy for sure. He's got this like Slender Man vibe.
See, I was thinking that too.
He's got elongated limbs and.
See, I think that like with the Owlman's concept, I think like the entire meaning behind him, you know what I'm saying, is what American filmmakers or at least independent filmmakers have tried to do with Slender Man. Like the level that the Owlman's at is what American filmmakers want to do with Slender Man. But like, because I was kind of worried when I did see the Owlman.
Because I know how much you love that story.
Yeah, I think the Slender Man story is really interesting, and I think it can be done well if properly approached. But I don't think anyone's approached it that way yet. So when I saw Owlman, I was like, okay, he reminds me of Slender Man, but like, what is he gonna do for me? Like, is it gonna feel like it's out of place? Is it gonna feel weird? Because, and this is just a side note, when the movie was being, what's the word I'm looking for? Promoted. There we go. When the movie was being promoted, the filmmakers dressed up the guy who wore that costume. They dressed him all up. And they put him in this abandoned building. I think it was a school.
Oh, really?
And it's a popular place. Photographers will go and take pictures, and they just put him in there. And people would he'd find them, and he'd just come out and scare the shit out of people. It's on YouTube. It's really funny.
That's interesting.
But it was like he gives off the same kind of fear that Slender Man does, but just something about him is terrifying. I'd say more terrifying than Slender Man himself.
Yeah.
So I think that basically what I'm saying, I think he was approached correctly. So
the character was
tip my hat to that.
Yeah, the character was interesting in and of itself. The David Schofield voiced the Owlman, and he each time that he would talk, it would be very long and preachy, but it had a lot of substance to it. And each time that he would speak, it would be over just dreadful imagery. So it was very eerie character. My only issue is they started showing the Owlman a little too liberally.
Yeah.
By almost halfway through, which almost kind of lost its potency. I wish they would have kind of kept him back a little bit more and only showed those quick images of him, because a lot of that was very creepy.
And I mean, I completely agree with you on that. And this is me defending them a little bit. The thing that I feel with characters like Slender Man and like Owlman, is that because they did make a Slender Man movie, an entire Slender Man movie, and I saw it actually, and the problem I had with it is that they didn't show him enough. And of course, the problem with Owlman is they showed him too much. And that's the thing you can do with those characters. You can overshow something, or you can undershow it. There's like a weird line that you have to meet. Sometimes it's hard to figure out where it is. You know what I mean? So I agree that Owlman they could have been much more conservative with it, and it would have brought more terror to the arrival of his character when he did show up. So, but at the same time, I think that while he did show up, he didn't scare me as much as he had the first couple times, but his presence still bothered me.
Right, yeah.
You know, so I think
especially there were some long takes of just him outside that just like almost uncomfortably long takes of him not doing anything, and that was eerie because you're not sure what's going to happen. You're not sure, am I waiting a jump scare here or what?
The thing about characters like that, it's the stillness.
Right.
It's like stillness makes people so uncomfortable.
Lord of Tears. You got to be a little bit open-minded for it. If you're one of those horror fans who appreciates the art of horror and can find a deeper meaning by looking past any technical issues or shortcomings, there's a lot that you can take away from here. I sure did. It's most certainly worth a viewing. What do you think? Think they should watch it?
Yeah, I do. I really enjoyed it. It's got great imagery, it's got a great story, and all in all, it's a very tasteful horror film. If you want to learn more about it, you can type in lordoftears.com. It'll take you to a website that'll direct you right to the DVD as well as some other work that guy has done. Didn't you write a written review on it?
I did. From now on, I will be having written reviews to correlate with each film review that we do. Temporarily, it's going to be on my website at joeleatherman.com just until we do the full launch of HorrorHive.com.
If you want us to watch a horror movie, want to see something that you don't think we have heard of at all, leave it in the comment section below. We'll find it, we'll give it a watch, and we'll do an episode on it. But until then, we'll see you next time. I'm Big Cam.
And I'm Joe. And remember, for all original horror content, tune into HorrorHive.com, where the blood runs like honey.
Bye, guys.